Hi everyone, welcome back to A Sky Full of Stars, Orihime's Route, Episode 5. So, in the last episode, Akito and Orihime are able to get some kind of conditional approval from the Planetarium director, Morita-san, about Orihime putting up a show. But the problem is that, well, they don't know what kind of show they are going to put up. So Orihime and Akito are looking at what they can do, and because the show or the slot that Morita-san reserved for them is on a weekday, it means that the people who will be watching this show will be mostly housewives and students. So they're trying to figure out what preference or what they would prefer. And this is where Orihime and Honoka are pampering Korona, hoping to get Korona to help them. It's like, well, what do you enjoy? What's something that you would do to take a break from all the stress that you get from studying for all these big exams, especially the entrance exam that Korona is taking for Meikou Academy. So let's see what Korona says.
私たちでプラネタリウムのイベントをやるって話は聞いているわよね。そのイベントにあなた方受験生を招待しようと考えてますの。そうなんだ。それはみんな喜ぶよ、きっと。
So Korona is in on this, like, okay.
本当にそうでしょうか。
Honoka points out the problem right away. So she's not trying to point out flaws, but she's trying to gain the most information she can. Maybe they are still busy studying, so even if we invite them, do you think they'll really come?
みんながみんな来るとはコロナも言わないよ。でも勉強漬けでぐったりしてるから気分転換したいなって切実に思ってる子は多いと思う。
So it's good to have something to relax from all the hard studying that we have to do.
ですよね、ですよね。星を見たら気分晴れ晴れですから。
Perfect! So thanks to Korona, we are able to get an idea about how the examinees felt. And then we just had to work out the details. So the event will be held on February 17th. So how close is that to the days of the test?
私立がだいたい2月頭に試験をやって公立が2月末になるかな。
So it depends.
ということはイベント開催日には私立の入試がもう終わっていますね。
So for Korona, this event is going to be like a relief from, okay, I'm done with all my tests, and I need something to just celebrate and take all the stress away.
私立の結果も出てきて、それを踏まえて公立の受験に挑むって感じかな。結構ピリピリしていそうなタイミングね。
And it kind of seems like the public school exams are for people who failed to pass the exams and get into the private schools. Well, that's why the event is so, or will be so effective. Well, at least that's what I'm hoping. But I didn't think I had the wrong idea. So there's something we want to ask you, Korona. So pull out the bundle of papers we prepared.
何なのこれ？アンケートですわ。2月17日にハーバータウンのプラネタリウムで受験生向けのイベントを開催するとしたら参加したいと思うかどうか。アンケート用紙であると同時に参加希望受付にもなっています。
So the students that circle yes for the participation and write their name in school will get priority at the event.
どうかしら？やってもらえる？
So do you want to sign up? The bundle of papers is heavy. And we made 200 sheets of A4 size paper. So that's the international standard, and it's a little bit bigger than the letter size that the US uses. So it's a pretty big burden for Korona, as busy as she is with study.
もちろんいいよ。コロナだってむつら星の一員だもん。
Okay, says Korona.
助かりますわ。でもこれだと容量悪くないかな。紙のアンケートもいいけどネットを活用しなきゃ。
Okay, it's like, well, it's kind of a waste to have all these printouts. So I think it's better to have like an online survey or something like that, or like an online RBSP form. Well, now that you say it, you're right.
どうして今まで気づかなかったのでしょう。
So maybe we should have made it online.
しっかりしてよね、もう。むつら星のブログを担当している加納さんにお願いしましょう。
So it would take some doing, but once it's set up, there will be almost no work to it.
ブログで告知するだけじゃなくて、アンケート用のフォームを作るといいと思う。
There you go.
それでは完全にむつら星の会のイベントのように思われてしまわないかしら。
So I think the problem is that, well, an online survey is nice, but it might attract the wrong people, and there might be some people that will say yes, but they don't go at all. So this is something Orihime is doing personally, not a full Six Stars Club event.
ちゃんと書いとけばいいよ。むつら星の会はこのイベントを応援してますって。同じ星好きの仲間として応援するというスタンスは決して間違っていませんからね。みんなを巻き込んでしまうみたいで申し訳ないのだけれど。
Well, you're not getting us involved, so we want to help you. So it's a different way of seeing it.
そうそう、勝手に巻き込まれに来ているだけだし。
So we are interested, we are volunteering, and we want to help you.
今回コロナさんは巻き込んだ形ですよ。コロナもやりたいって言ったもん。お母さんがうるさくなかったらもっといろいろできるんだけど。
Okay.
ありがとう。無理しない程度に手伝ってね。プラネタリウムイベントに関する意識調査ですね。任せてください。ブログに書く文面とフォームの内容をお願いします。
So I contacted Noriko and asked her about the blog. And attacking on two fronts, Korona in real life and Noriko on the net, we will be okay.
これで一安心ね。
Well, that's just a start.
加納さんに渡す文面はどうしましょう。私がいいえ、こっちでやるわ。吉岡は合宿の方で忙しいのでしょ。
Hold on, I went too fast. So let's see what Honoka had to say.
いいえ、こっちでやるわ。吉岡は合宿の方で忙しいのでしょ。
Okay, actually, this one.
加納さんに渡す文面はどうしましょう。私がやりますか。そこまでではありませんけど、いいからこちらのことは任せてちょうだい。今日は付き合ってくれてありがとう。いえ、私も会長のお手伝いができて楽しかったですから。
So Honoka gives a slightly sad smile. So she's signaling that she wants to split up their work and be independent from Orihime. Even though it's painfully obvious, she couldn't put it into words. Okay, so back at the Planetarium. So back to Harbor Town.
さあ、リベンジの時よ。腕が鳴るわ。
Okay, so let's see how he would reply. So we rolled up our sleeves and got ready. And there's one other here looking at us coldly. So who's this person?
リベンジってそういう話だったっけ？
Narue. And I wonder if she knows about what's going on, because she wasn't involved in the planning of this special event. So Narue for Nishihai.
いえ、なんとなくそういう気分になっただけで。
Well, it feels like we're in a enemy territory to Orihime and me.
そうかい。
So Narue doesn't seem moved.
それより姫さん、ちゃんと約束は取れてるんだろうね。
任せておいてください。バッチリですわ。
So everything will be okay. So inside the planetarium, after hours, and not long before, it must have been filled with the heat of people looking up at the stars.
これがプラネタリウムの投影機か。すごいな。
Her voice is filled with admiration at the old projector enshrined in front of her.
何年前の製品なんだ？どっかに書いてないかな。
And I wonder,
こちらの投影機は約60年前のものです。
so it's probably built around the 50s or the 40s, 60s. So it's Morita-san, the director, who answers.
かつて別のプラネタリウムにあったものですが、縁あって譲り受けることができました。この投影機があったから当館が生まれたと言っても過言ではないでしょう。
Morita-san is just stating the truth, but it comes as a bit of a surprise. So he had built the planetarium because of the projector.
すごい情熱ですわね。
So he was able to secure lots of money to build a structure to house this projector.
これにはそれだけの価値がある。そう私は思っています。
His expression when he looks at the rugged, dumbbell-shaped machine is filled with affection, different than what he looks, or when he looks at us. And I'm sure that is his true self. So he would have given his life to protect the projector.
わかるよ。すごく。
分かっていただけるのですか？
こいつを見て何も感じない奴はバカだ。その神経を疑うよ。
So I remember the original planetarium that housed this projector got demolished, and the projector got saved, and Morita-san bought it and built this building around it. So it seems that Narue could really understand Morita-san's feeling. And I could see tears at the corners of her eyes. So I guess the history etched into the old projector has really left an impression on her.
館長さん、今日は見学を許可してくれてありがとう。それと、こいつを守ってくれてありがとう。心より感謝してる。
いえ。
Morita-san has no words. So for most people, the old projector didn't even compare to the new ones. It probably didn't have much value outside of its historical value. And I wonder how much maintenance they have to do to keep it running, because if it's old, it's probably going to have a lot more problems. But then again, old equipment like this is built to last compared to new ones where they would replace it maybe like 5 years or 10 at the most. And to the untrained eye, it's likely not much more than scrap metal. But even still, Morita-san has taken care of it, or taken it in and cared for it, and he had even built a whole planetarium around this machine. And many people probably don't understand his passion and made fun of him. I'm sure he doesn't show it to anyone in public.
それだけ昔の投影機なんだ。レンズもいいんだろうな。こいつが映す星を見てみたいよ。
どうぞこちらに。
Morita-san shows us, well, maybe Narue more than anyone, the controls.
すっげえな。これが制御盤か。
And I wonder how complicated the control panel is. I'm sure there's so many buttons and switches. And you have to know how to flip the right switches and controls to get the movements that you want. And I'm sure in the newer ones, you get a joystick, a touch screen with instructions, and maybe some automated functions as well. So if you want to move one way, you just have to execute it, and the computer does it for you. Okay, so their colorful labels are stuck along the side.
シリウスがあって、こちらには流星もありますわ。
So at least they have some little pointers. Oh, so there are switches for the plants here.
それぞれのつまみで星を操作するのか。
オペレーターが操作しやすいように説明をつけています。
So it helps.
では動かしますよ。
Okay. So the lights in the dome went off, and suddenly we saw a starless night sky. And when Morita-san operates the console, the sky is filled with stars.
うわ
こんな感じです。
And it's over quickly. So it's after hours, so you probably didn't want to stay back too long.
この投影機にしか出せない星があります。他とは違う人工の輝き。私はそれに魅せられた。
最新のじゃきっとこうはならないだろうしな。
待ってください。最新の機材の方がより美しい星を映せるのではないのですか？
So I'm sure new ones, they can add in effects to make it more exciting.
それは違うよ、姫さん。最新のプラネタリウムでも結局は光学式だ。つまりレンズが命ってことになる。大量生産品としての精度なら今の技術の方が優れているかもしれない。ただこいつは職人が作った芸術品なのさ。その温かみのある味わいがいいんだ。
Honestly, I don't really understand the difference. Well, I'm sure the image looks more realistic with this projector as opposed to a digital projector where it's pixelated. And even if you have like a super high definition projector, I'm sure for some people they can see how artificial it looks because of all the pixels. And I wonder how important this planetarium is to Morita-san.
イベントをやらせてもらうんならこっちで操作させてもらえたりするのかな。
残念ですがそれはできません。技術のある専門の職員でないと正常に動作させるのは不可能です。
だろうね。分かっていたけど聞いてみたかったんだ。
Narue smiles with no hint of disappointment.
ではイベント当日は職員の方に操作していただくことになるんですか？
はい。そこは当館のスタッフに任せていただきます。
So you have to plan out about what you want to happen, and then one of our trained staffs will coordinate and do all the controls for the projector.
残念だけど仕方ないね。こうして見せてもらっただけでも私は十分さ。今日はありがとう、館長さん。貴重なものを見せてもらって感謝してるよ。
こちらこそありがとうございました。見学なら歓迎しておりますので、いつでもご連絡ください。
Okay, so they're out.
私もですわ。
The cold night air felt nice. Orihime breathed deeply to clear her head.
今日は誘ってくれてありがとな。いい勉強になったよ。
And unlike us, Narue looks totally satisfied and refreshed. It's like, well, that was pretty good. I got to see how the projector worked and how someone would operate it. The purpose of today's tour had been to learn how the planetarium would operate and what would be possible for us. We knew that Narue, with her love of gadgets, would want to see the planetarium, so we had invited her along.
あの館長さん、すげえいい人だな。尊敬できる大人ってのは、ああいうのを言うんだと思うよ。
And it seems that Narue really likes Morita-san.
森田先生も神野さんのことを随分と気に入ったようですわね。
Well, I'm surprised too. And I don't think such a cold gentleman would talk so passionately. And it's all because Narue has been here.
ダメって言われたけど、やっぱ自分らで操作してみたいよな。
Well, I'm sure it's so precious that, well, if I have anyone touch it, they might damage it, so... Yeah, well, controlling the stars like that, you would feel like a god. And even as you look up to the heavens from the earth, we're nothing more than specks of dust to outer space. And it's hard feeling to accept at times, but right now I could not stop thinking, what would it be like to have the power to control the stars?
いいなあ。プラネタリウムの職員。
And I thought it would suit Narue. And I couldn't help but think about it.
では公開しますね。
Okay, so what's going on now? So she's updating the Six Stars Club blog for the Planetarium event.
これでいいと思います。アンケート結果については集まり次第後日まとめてお知らせしますね。ありがとう、加納さん。本当に助かるわ。いえ、今週中に間に合ってよかったです。あと、吉岡さん、合宿についても軽く触れておいたから。
So, with regards to the observation camp,
ありがとうございます。
while Orihime and I are focused on the event, Honoka is planning the camp. Okay, so I'm working on the next part. And I don't know how far along she is. And it seems like she's put in charge by Orihime while I was not around.
それにしてもわざわざ天の中から来てもらって遠かったのではないかしら。ネット越しのやり取りもできますけど、たまにはちゃんと顔を合わせたいです。私も皆さんの仲間として参加してる気分になりたいですから。
The event plans have moved ahead one step thanks to Noriko. And if we put her data together with Korona surveys, that would be plenty. So the problem is creating our own original program. And if we could not convince Morita-san, the event would not get the green light. So Meikou Academy's library is sure something, so what a great collection. So I'm sure a lot of books, old references, new references, and I'm sure the interior looks pretty exquisite as well, so lots of wood furniture. So we parted with Noriko and went to the library to search for ideas and materials.
エスカレーター式の強みね。大学の図書館も利用できるから助かるわ。
And I'm shocked how different it is to compare to Hoshin Daiichi's. So I'm sure his library is like a regular school library, so it does have books, but not all the decorations. We had come to look for books to use as reference material, and we would be able to make full use of Orihime and Honoka's library accounts. Using library books in combination with the internet, we would be able to focus on creating our own program for the Planetarium.
白鳥元会長、霧のいいところで今日は終わりにしましょう。
Okay, so it's getting late. So it's already dark outside. And knowing we could not stay any longer, Honoka recommends we stop.
あら、もうこんな時間？そうね。あまり遅くなってはご両親も心配されるでしょうし。
私のことはいいんです。ご自身を気遣ってください。
そうね。わかったわ。今日はこれまでにしましょう。
では、お先に失礼します。
それでは、また明日。
So we send Honoka off first, and Orihime waves with a smile, but once Honoka is out of sight, she turns to me.
さて、続きをやりましょうか。
Hey, so you weren't listening to Honoka at all. So why are you going home with me and not going back to your place?
だって時間がないんですもの。今は緊急事態よ。やむを得ない事例だわ。
And I hope it's not another. I want to taste Saya's dinner or Saya's treat.
それに資料だっていつまでも借りていられるわけではないのだし。
Or more like I want to taste Amanagawa-san's treat. I know that. So, the borrow period for the library is 14 days. We have to borrow as much as we can before the project starts at the end of the month. Okay, so, but outsiders can't stay at night, can they? Meikou Academy has pretty tight security. And unlike Hoshida Aichi, it will not be possible to stay overnight.
なら別の場所ですればいいだけの話ね。
But then again, Akito has been doing it illegally. And he's just lucky using all these fake reasons to, well, I'm part of the astronomy club, so I have to be here to do night observations. Even though that was not the case. So you want to go to my room again? And I'm happy to have her come, but I sense trouble. And it would be rude to the manager to let a girl into the room I'm staying in. And I'm sure for Orihime it's going to generate even more unwanted attention from Miharu-san, at least.
そうね。毎度毎度空見くんの部屋というのも迷惑な話でしょうから。わかりました。今日はあなたを我が家にご招待しますわ。
Okay, so if it's a problem with me going to your place, how about you come to my place instead? And I'm sure Akito is going to drop dead when he sees how exquisite or how rich Orihime lives. Well, I'm sure that's not the case, but anyways. So pass. I didn't have the courage to just stroll into the mansion, where I'm sure her parents are.
なぜです？
Why not? Well, it's a problem.
家を挙げて歓迎しますから心配無用ですわ。
Well, that's what I'm worried about.
やはりこたつですか？こたつがない家になんて行けないと？
Well, I'm sure it's not that. No, that's not it. But if that will make you give up, well, then let's say it's that. I'm sure Orihime's like, well, now that he's kind of hesitating, it kind of shows that there might be some other reason why he doesn't want to go to my place. Well, I know that Orihime is tenacious at times like this.
お母様の料理は絶品ですわよ。
Hey, don't think you can lure me in with food. Say, well, I just want to be together, and
じゃあどうしたら釣れますの？
well, nothing. And I should have told her I had to go to work.
困ったわね。
It's like, well, I have to go to work, so I can't really go anywhere right now. Hey, so if we argue like this, the guard will worry and come over.
わかりました。今日は私も引き下がりますわ。
Well, I'm sure they'll spare Orihime. It's like, well, you're a girl, so you're special, but they're going to go after Akito, and I don't know what kind of punishment he's going to get. Probably permanent restraint from coming to Meikou Academy. So it looks like she's finally convinced. And I would just have to say goodnight and go home. So, okay, I'll just leave you here. I have to go back to my place and I'll go alone. But somehow, things had taken a different turn. So I wonder what would have happened if Akito did end up going to Orihime's place. And I wonder how Orihime's parents would respond. And it's kind of a mix. But, you know, in movies, they kind of mention, well, I'm sure the parents of Orihime won't accept Akito. It's like, well, he's poor, he lives primitive, he doesn't have the status and class that you have, so I urge you not to be with Akito. Wait, that's from Titanic. Well, anyways. So Orihime ends up following Akito anyways. And just as I thought, Orihime is going home. She comes with me back to my place. Are you angry? I'm sorry that I want to follow you. Well, I'm just a bit surprised. Well, mostly with my own stupidity. Don't worry about it. So the store is closed today anyways. I think that he's lying. Let's go. So we'll just freeze if we stay here. And it seems like she saves her best smiles for times like this. And I wonder if she actually knew the effect it had. So we sat across from each other, the kotatsu, discussing the events program. Yeah, and if we show them off-season constellations, the people watching won't get it. So if we match the planetarium with the real stars, they might think to look at the stars themselves. But if our event could make some of the younger students interested in the stars, this will make us happy more than anything. So Orion is definitely the representative of the winter constellations. Well, if we focus on one, it might be too short. We had a similar discussion at the Meikou Academy Club. So as long as the season is winter, our event could not help but overlap with the Planetarium program. And they are all trained professionally. If we did the same thing, it would be inferior. And it won't stand out, and it's kind of a waste. Well, they'll laugh that end in tragedy, so we don't want to depress them. And we couldn't really decide on an idea. And I flipped through the books we have brought, but nothing gives inspiration. So, well, I don't think we got any ideas at the end. Or it might not be appropriate for the audience that we're hoping to present to. She mumbles a complaint. She's always so strong in front of people, but sometimes she shows her vulnerable side. Well, there are some good points too, so old stories have universal truths. And though some would say that it's just old-fashioned too. But there are many people who find old things charming, like the director in Narue.
でも相手はコロナさんたち受験生ですから。
But what about for someone like Korona? Which constellation myth would make examinees like Korona happy? So their students, tired from studying, they would want quick relief. And showing constellations to people not interested in the stars would probably just bore them. Okay, so I guess we have to consider that.
あれと言いますと?
So the other planetarium's other type of program is for couples. So let's try to make something that matches the second program. So it's similar for those not interested in the stars. And it's designed for a quick enjoyment. So that voice is going to be the trick. The former actress's voice is still fresh in my mind. And just hearing that voice had been soothing. Does it mean this person? Yeah, so Tsukira-san. I think her voice has been comforting. Well, you should do the same thing, Orihime. Well, I know you'll do well.
私の声でですか? それは少々無理があるような。
Well, I don't think I'll be able to act like her. Or, I won't be able to be as soothing and calming as her.
あちらはプロなのよ。素人学生の声で太刀打ちできるとはとても思えないわ。
Maybe not, but still. Well, I don't know how they would compare, but I thought Orihime's voice is charming. And she had put out a slight act since I met her. Well, then again, Orihime got carried away and Honoka had to pull her back. It's like, well, hey, you know, you're alienating our guest. Or it was actually the tarot card incident. Well, she's definitely suited to it. Yeah, so when Akito first met Orihime was reading tarot cards and he tried to escape until Honoka blocked him in, and then Akito's like, well, why don't you open up the windows and make it a normal place than this voodoo magic, fortune-telling tarot card booth.
ちょっとあまりじっと見つめないでもらえます?
Well, sorry, I didn't mean to. But I could not help but look. Well, maybe it didn't really have anything to do with the planetarium, but she really is a beauty. Okay, so try staying like this.
はい。
She stands up from the kotatsu like I asked. Okay, so those will be fine as a script, so read these lines.
いきなり?
So I wonder who wrote these. Okay, you'll have plenty of practice for the main part, so you don't need to worry. And I gave her a book of myths that happened to be open and had her read it. Okay, so it's a book like here. Why don't you try to read this and...
困ったわね。
or act it out. So she is embarrassed, but didn't refuse. Orihime reluctantly starts to read.
おお、冥界の王ハデスよ。どうか私の妻エウリディケをお返しください。
So it's the myth of Lyra, the story of Orpheus and his wife Eurydice.
自慢の盾事を鳴らしながらオルフェウスは何度も何度も懇願します。しかしハデスは聞き入れてくれません。
お願いです、エウリディケよ。くどい。お前の妻は死んだのだ。現世に返すわけにはいかぬ。
お待ちくださいませ、あなた。私にはこの者の苦しみがよくわかります。彼に妻を返してあげていただけませんか？それはハデスの妻ペルセポネでした。彼女は農業の神デメテールの娘です。
何を言うか、ペルセポネよ。情に流されて世の断りを変えてはならん。
ですがあなた、愛し合う二人を裂くのはかわいそうですわ。ペルセポネはかつて地上で幸せに暮らしていました。ハデスに見初められ冥界に来ましたが、あの幸せな日々をずっと懐かしく思っていたのです。
お願いします、ハデス様。何とぞ妻を、エウリディケをお返しください。
私からもお願いします。どうぞお慈悲を。
Okay, that's good. I clap my hands to stop her reading.
どうでしたか？
So, how was that at the end? It's really good. Well, I knew you would be a great performer.
そんなことは。
Really? Well, it's better than I thought it would be. Well, I'm not Hades, but I almost gave in to you. After that, Orpheus had gotten Hades' permission and left the underworld with his wife. But he broke a promise that not to look back until they had left the underworld. He lost his wife, Eurydice, once again. And from the sorrow of losing his wife, Orpheus took his own life, his lyre, and the only thing left now plays sadly in the night sky.
オルフェウスの盾ごとの物語。悲しいお話だけれど、とても美しいわね。
So how about it? So you want to try it like that? So you performing a reading of the constellation myth? The stories are a great way to get people interested. And if the voice reading is changed with emotion, or charged with emotion, the starry sky would change into a theater.
朗読劇ですか。それは盲点でしたわね。
Well, I know it'll be great, so let's do it. And it's worth trying. So just dependent on how Orihime felt. So Orihime? So like Orpheus to Hades. And I had no, let's see, purse phone to back me up, but I would get my wish. Alright,
わか
so,
りました。やらせていただきます。
okay, I'll do it.
あなたにそこまで望まれては、ノーとは言えませんもの。
Well, I don't think Akito wants it badly, but still.
それに、オルフェウスが求めたのに、ハデスが拒むわけにはいきませんからね。もう迷いません。決して振り返りませんわ。
Well, that's my line.
いいじゃない、どちらでも。今はオルフェウスのような気持ちなんです。
So Orihime no longer has any worry or doubt. She smiles brightly, like she had shrugged everything off.
空見くん、私、急に星が見たくなりました。連れて行ってください。
Okay. Okay, so anyone else in the area? Oh, I'm sorry, Kotaro. It's not time for a walk. So apologizing to Kotaro, I get my bicycle. Okay, so we'll have to ride double. So, okay? So I asked her, indicating the cargo stand. So it's a seat too hard and cold for a princess like Orihime.
もちろん、望むところですわ。
Oh well, it's okay. She sat on it without hesitation. Okay, here we go. So, hold on. So I pedal down the dark mountain roads. And each time I push hard on the pedals, the bicycle leans.
不安定ですよね。
You'll be fine, so just hold on.
こうね。
So her hands are holding onto my coat wrapped around my body slightly, more than necessary. And then she pulls herself closer, and I could feel the heat coming from the softness of her body. So wait, okay, so how do you like it riding double.
最初は不安でした。すごくドキドキして、でも同時にワクワクもして。
So how about now then?
最高ですわ。
So I just wanted to keep pedaling forever and pass the sky into the Milky Way.
見て、あんなに星が。
So look above my head while pedaling.
星がいっぱいすぎて、星座が探せる。
So past midnight, the winter sky is getting even darker, the stars starting to shine even brighter. And it's even more impressive than the sky we had seen on the stargazing night on Christmas Day, so the first light event. There are so many stars, they look like they would fall onto us.
止めて。
So where are they now? Okay, so we're just on top of Hoshino Dam, and unable to wait, she jumps off the cargo stand.
いい場所ね。とっても。
So this is a good place to stop. Well, it's still a little bright for watching the stars.
そうではなくて、このあなたが暮らした三日月村のことよ。
So I remember that you used to live here. So the old Mikazuki village, as I knew, has been sunk by the dam. And the dream of the Mikazuki Astronomy Club had never come true, but there are still people who like this place all the same. She suddenly lays down in the middle of the bridge over the dam. Wait, Orihime?
とてもいい眺めよ。
But as a nice view. She pats the ground next to her. So, have a seat next to me. I lay down next to her as if guided. Oh, it's cold.
アスファルトに直接だもの。仕方ないわ。
But she didn't move to get up. And the ground froze me through my coat. And the cold of winter chills me to the core.
まさかこんなところで寝転んで星を見るなんてね。
Well, that's my line.
ごめんなさい、急に。でも今こうしてみたかったの。この瞬間のこの星空を。
She touches my hand like she is looking for warmth. And I took her hand wordlessly.
人って暖かいのよ。
Well, I'm glad I'm with you.
そうね。
So she gently grips my hand, and my pounding pulse warms my cold body from the inside. Even if that is an illusion, our linked hands in that place is real.
そろそろ限界。
So what's wrong now? So unable to stand it, she jumps up. And my dreams are coming to an end. Wait, so what should we do now? If we're going to keep stargazing, it would be best to head down to the lakeside observation spot. Though it wouldn't have been bad to go back home.
寒いし帰りましょう。
It's cold. Okay, got it. I got my bicycle again. And we would be riding double again. But she just stared and didn't get on. Wait, Orihime?
行きは空見くんに乗せてもらったから、帰りは私が運転しますわ。
So, I want to be the one to ride the bicycle on the way back. She grips the handlebars with shine eyes. So, well, you did the part to the dam, and I want to make it up by doing the return trip.
さあ、行きますわよ。出発進行。
And can she ride? I jumped quickly onto the cargo stand, and we moved along unsteadily. But So Orihime seems to be enjoying herself. Hey, careful.
しっかり捕まっていないと怪我しますわ
So
よ。
hold on.
それ
She pushes the pedals powerfully, and I balanced desperately on the back, but went with her.
今日初めて自転車の二人乗りをしました。そしてとても素敵な星空を眺めました。こんな幸せな夜があっていいのかしら。
Our pedaling eventually calms down and the bicycle speeds up. The downhill mountain roads are like a roller coaster.
もっとギュッと捕まって。
So hold on more. I know. I wrapped my arms around her hips and held on tight. And they are surprisingly slim hips, different from a man. And her flowing hair gives off a sweet smell.
こんな風に抱きしめられるのも生まれて初めてのことですわ。
And I could not see Orihime's face. But I'm sure it is the same as mine. Well, this is the first for me too. And I mumble softly with my face pressed into her back.
何か言いましたか？
Well, so this is it. And I realized something. I realized why I felt like the way I did. Why I like you. And that's what I said. I told my feelings and still pressed onto her back. And did she hear me? Well, no, I don't care if she did. But I like this person. And I like Orihime Shiratori. I just need to be sure of it myself. And that's all I needed. So that was a pretty interesting end with Orihime just being all excited, even though they didn't really get to the place that they were hoping to go to. So anyways, it's the next day, and it's like, I still don't know if Orihime had heard my confession. And in the end, she hasn't stayed with me, but had called for a ride home. And now, is Akito willing to take Kotaro for a walk? Okay, breakfast. Eat up. Okay, says Kotaro. And I fed Kotaro as soon as we got back from his walk. Okay, so they finished walking, or he finished walking Kotaro. And he's happy early in the morning. And I wish I could have had some of that energy too. Okay, so we have Saya, and Akito's talking to Saya about what is going to happen. So I'm talking to Saya, who has brought me some food while I'm at work. So Orihime has a good voice and can act, and I think it'll be good. So I'm sure it'll be good. Well, anyways, I need a favor from you, Saya. So can you take care of Orihime's outfit? So she needs to be dressed appropriately for her performance. So after I finished work, I brought Saya to the Meikou Academy Club, or the Meikou Astronomy Club.
よく来てくれたわね、さやさん。
So Orihime greets her with a smile. So Honoka is nowhere to be seen.
吉岡さんは？
So I think she's busy with the camp planning.
今日は休日でしょ。わざわざ呼び出すのも悪いと思って。
Okay, so holiday. She's having Honoka work hard on the training camp. Okay, that's also true. And we couldn't trouble her with our event.
衣装の件で話があると、アキト君から聞いてるんですけど。そうなのよ。これを見ていただけるかしら。
She pulls out a Greek toga costume.
あ、これ。
Hey, don't look at me.
でも、アキト君が女装で着た服だよね。
But don't you remember? So in the common route, Orihime just wanted like a model for the Play Sisters, and she had Akito dress up as one, complete with makeup, and she took pictures of it. And I'm sure for Akito it was very embarrassing, and he does not want to remember it. And that happened while Honoka was giving Korona a tour of Meikou Academy.
その通りですわ。イベントの衣装にこれ
So
を使うのもいいんですが。
I can wear this for the event. So it's a special event, so I'm thinking we could make it more fancy.
なるほど。
Hmm.
でも、どうして私に
So why consult me? Saya isn't especially good at sewing. Well, that's well known. Well, we don't actually want you to do it, Saya.
聖戦女子の天文部の方に相談に乗ってもらえないかしら。
So can anyone from your school help?
うちの天文部に
So the Seisen Astronomy Club draws manga, right? So I'm thinking they might know about cosplayer.
ちょっと聞いてみないとわからないけど、コスプレ衣装ならお願いできそうな気がする。私、一緒にコスプレしようって誘われたことあるし。
So I think they know about this, or they can help. Well, I hadn't heard about that. And I wonder what kind of cosplay Saya had done.
してないからね。本当だよ。
So did you take pictures at the end?
だからコスプレしてないって
Well,
ば。
I passed, and I didn't do it, so... It seems she really had not done it, and that's a little disappointing.
それで聖戦天文部の方に話をしてもらえる
But can you still ask them for help?
それはもちろんお引き受けします。
Okay?
ただ何かサイズを測ったり試着したりいろいろしてもらうことになると思いますけど、大丈夫ですか？もちろん女性だけでしたら問題ありませんわ。じゃあ月曜に早速話してみますね。ありがとう、さやさん。助かるわ。
And for the moment, we are finished with Saya. Okay, so this is a good place to stop for this episode. And in the next episode, we're going to see how this event turns out. So it looks like they have some idea about what they want to do for the event. So I mean Orihime and Akito. And I wonder what the final script is going to be about. And I kind of wonder about the costume. So they do have some idea for the costume, but it needs to be modified and fit to Orihime's size. And I also wonder how the other club members feel about this event. And I don't think they know about the details yet. But anyways, with that in mind, I'll see you in the next episode.